Hi, I'm Eleanor from Refuge Design Workshop. In these videos, I invite you to see spaces through a designer's lens, to notice the subtle details and intentional choices that make a space not just beautiful, but truly livable. Today, we're taking a closer look at something that many people consider a challenge and maybe even an undesirable quality, but I see as an opportunity, and that is small kitchens. So we're going to use this beautiful DeVOL kitchen as an example, and I'll show you how and why a compact space can actually offer advantages that larger kitchens can't really match. The first thing to notice about this gorgeous DeVol kitchen in Bath, England, is its inherent efficiency. So, in a thoughtfully designed kitchen like this one, the cook can reach almost everything with a simple pivot of their body. So, there's no running back and forth over like vast expanses of floor. And this is what kitchen designers will call a tight work triangle. So the work triangle, of course, is between the sink, the refrigerator, and the stove. And in this case, that triangle is small. And the efficiency isn't just about convenience, although it is convenient, but it actually can make cooking more enjoyable because a natural rhythm starts to develop when everything is within arm's reach. Your movements become more fluid, it becomes more like a dance. And people, that's an enjoyable, that's a pleasurable quality of cooking. And practically speaking, you spend less time with the moving back and forth and more time creating. Let's look at the visual appeal and how this kitchen balances storage while also maximizing, so the sense of openness, which can be a tricky thing, a tricky balance in a small space. So we have cabinets on one wall. On the wall cabinets, we have base cabinets on both sides. Wall cabinets are only on one wall. So this is very strategic. Notice the other wall is blank. I mean, you could put some like shelves, shallow shelves, art on this other wall, but notice how you have a more open space when you don't. So maintaining a sense of openness is going to help you prevent claustrophobia. And bare walls can do that, can create breathing room. Allowing the eye to rest rather than feeling overwhelmed and closed in by the storage units is key here. And this designer has used some open shelving in the back. You can also use some hanging rails, and this kind of approach to like putting things on the wall that are not cabinets and that do not have doors as a way to add some storage. And that can add some visual interest as well. So you will have like displayed objects. But having too many cabinets, especially on the walls, can create heaviness. And I mean, every client I've ever worked with wants to maximize storage. So it's unusual in a way to see a small kitchen that doesn't have cabinets going all the way to the ceiling. And notice how even on the cabinets, the wall cabinets in this kitchen, they're not going all the way to the ceiling. They're relatively short and they have this beautiful crown molding to cap them. That's a lovely detail. Technically, you could also put some dishware on top, some big pots and pans on top of those cabinets if you need that space. But again, not crowding the walls, not crowding all the way to the ceiling keeps that openness, that airiness. And that's something that's going to really help the enjoyment of the space. So the color palette is also a big part of what's creating serenity and beauty in the space. So let's pay attention to that. This is a very a soft gray. It's a little warmer. It's not a cool gray. It's a warm gray. It's a monochromatic color scheme. We have the linen on the windows. We have a kind of cream color for the radiator. We have a blonde, maybe oak wood on the floor. And it all kind of fits together within a similar range, a similar color note, which would be this soft gray. But that doesn't mean, and unified colors like this is great, creates a sense of continuity, makes the room feel larger, doesn't overwhelm the senses. But it doesn't mean you can't add some moments of contrast and some moments of color. Like you can add absolutely, if this is not your style, add your own personality. You can have a bright red teapot. You can have some, gorgeous abstract expressionist art on the wall. You can add more accessories, dishware, ceramics, natural elements. And what they'll do is they'll create focal points. Your eye is going to naturally go to those brighter colors. So the key is going to be here, restraint. It doesn't take much to get the effect you're going for. And, if you do too much, then you're going to start to create some visual clutter. Okay, so perhaps the most brilliant feature in this small kitchen, and perhaps you've noticed it in the back, is this breakfast bar. And so let's just take a moment and notice how much functionality is packed into this single element. First, it creates a social space. This is so just brilliant, clutch amazingness. You can sit and chat while someone else cooks. The person who is visiting the spouse, the offspring, they can hang out with you while you're cooking and stay out of the workflow. This is so helpful. This is harmony when we can get that balance. And a kitchen is a hub. This is the center of activity. So having that is invaluable. And it's really nice to have a little casual dining area, a place to have your coffee, a place to also maybe do some work, write a thank you note if anyone does that anymore. But there's this one other thing. So let's take a look at this from and I want to point out there's a second photo here. I should show you that. So here we have it. It's very beautiful, very lovely, very tiny, very close together. You really have to love the person you're with. But notice, okay, yeah, here we go. The counter cuts back. The full depth of the counter cuts back to a shallower depth. Maybe it's 3/4, maybe it's 2/3 of the depth. And what this does is it maintains that openness in front of the window. From this point of view, in this image, you can see if they continued the full depth counter all the way to the window, it would cut off some of the window. It would also mean a smaller radiator would have to be installed. And, it encloses that once the fridge door is open, it's going to create a little bit tighter space. So moving that counter a little bit, away from that full depth is really helping here. And having that breakfast bar, designed the way it does, moving back, letting that window be full and open, allowing all that light to come in. This is really masterful. And this is part of what's really creating this illusion of extra space, this openness. There's the shelves too in this section of the breakfast bar, which I want to just really quickly highlight. So it's really nice to have small, shallow shelves, and so don't overlook them. You don't need much space for your salt, for your oils, for your spices, for little vases, for little tins of tea. So it's really clever. It also adds visual interest. And what I'm loving here is that they painted them the same color as the walls. And if we look more closely at the whole kitchen, the walls, the cabinets, the shelves, these are all painted the same color. So that is a pretty restrained color palette. But again, really important in a small kitchen. Really a good idea in a small kitchen where visual clutter can be quickly overwhelming. As we've seen in a small As we've seen, a small kitchen like this DeVOL kitchen in Bath, England, this is such a beautiful example of what a small kitchen can do. We celebrate this small kitchen and small kitchens like this. It's efficient. We love that. We love the intimacy of it too. Let's not miss that. And we love how thoughtful it is. Sometimes these spaces, when we're squeezed, when a designer is imposed with some limitations, the ideas get sharper. Their better ideas can emerge. So let me know in the comments if there are elements in this design that really resonated with you, or if you have a small kitchen and you need to troubleshoot some solutions, let me know. Also, if you're looking to improve your kitchen workflow without taking on a full remodel, I'm launching a kitchen counter reset series over on my Substack. So I'll add that to the URLs in the show notes. So this series is part of a series of series, and I'm calling them like my quick wins. And the idea is that they're going to help you transform your daily experience in your home in just 15 minutes. All right, I'll be back in 2 weeks with another closer look at thoughtful design. Until then.